Take a look at this picture. Do you know what these objects are? Way back in the past, these stone caskets were used to store the cremated remains of Lord Buddha. Sounds incredible? Here's the story.
We are at the Sanchi Stupa in Madhya Pradesh, and our story is about the events that followed the death of Buddha almost 2500 years ago. Buddhism is sometimes called an atheistic religion. You see, when Buddha was alive, he never called himself God, and he did not speak about the importance of praying to God either. He just taught the importance of living a righteous life. So his earliest followers never worshipped his image. In fact, for centuries after his death, it was forbidden to create statues or idols of Buddha. Instead, sculptors of that time used various symbols to represent Buddha and inspire his followers. His footprints, his begging bowl, and more common symbols like the lotus and the wheel.
Buddha is believed to have died in 483 BCE in Kushinagara, in the kingdom of Mallas in North India. His body was cremated soon after his death, but his ashes and other relics, his hair, teeth, nails and bones was safely preserved for future generations to draw inspiration from. At that time, there were 7 other kingdoms that venerated Buddha equally. They too wanted a share of his relics, and a war broke out between these 8 kingdoms. Finally, as a compromise, the ashes were divided into 8 stone caskets like these and distributed amongst the warring kings. Each of these kings buried the casket in their capital city and built a stupa over it.
2300 years later, in 1818, an English general was on patrol in the hilly jungles of central India. He was on the lookout for a group of bandits who were terrorizing that area. That's when he stumbled upon the ruins of a 2000-year-old monument, the Sanchi Stupa. Today, we know it's one of the oldest stone structures in India and a very important Buddhist pilgrimage site. More importantly, the sculptures on the stupa give historians insights into the events that followed Buddha's death. Not long after, in the 1830s, another Englishman managed to decipher an ancient Indian script called Brahmi. This long forgotten script was found on 2000-year-old pillars across India. Now, historians could read these inscriptions. And that's how India was introduced to the greatest of its Buddhist kings, Emperor Ashoka.
Ashoka was crowned king in 268 BCE, about 200 years after the death of Buddha. After conquering large parts of the subcontinent, he became a Buddhist and started spreading the religion with great zeal. But he found that many of the old Buddhist shrines and stupas were falling to ruin. If Buddhism had to be rejuvenated, it needed monuments that the common folk could relate with. Ashoka remembered those 8 stone caskets containing Buddha's relics. In an inspired moment, he retrieved those caskets, divided their contents into 84,000 smaller caskets, and buried them in stupas all over India and in other countries.
One of those 84,000 caskets was placed in the stupa in Sanchi, the same one that the English general discovered by accident. And this stupa has a special significance in Ashoka's story. You see, it was at Sanchi that Ashoka met and married his wife, Devi. Devi was a Buddhist, and many historians feel she may have been a factor in his conversion to Buddhism. It is also said that Devi personally oversaw the construction of the Sanchi Stupa. Gradually, it became a Buddhist center and pilgrims came from far-off lands to visit it. Ashoka died in 232 BCE. After him, the Sanchi complex was destroyed and rebuilt by subsequent dynasties. Over the next 1,000 years, the religious landscape in India changed. Buddhism gradually declined and the stupas fell into ruin. The last temple in Sanchi was built in the 9th century. By the 13th century, the complex itself lay forgotten, hidden behind the trees and the shrubs that grew thickly around it.
So where are the stone caskets now? Ashoka distributed the original relics into 84,000 stone caskets and buried them in stupas not just in India but in other countries also. Today, many South and Southeast Asian countries claim to have relics of Buddha. These are all important pilgrimage sites for Buddhists, and Buddhism continues to thrive in most of these countries. But there is one more detail I haven't shared yet. Ashoka did not get his hands on all 8 original caskets. He had to leave one out. The Ramagrama Stupa in Nepal was guarded by a fierce race of Nagas who flatly refused to part with their stone casket. Story goes that Ashoka was not able to break their resistance. And so, till date, that continues to be the only stupa with the original stone casket still intact.
How did you like this video? Please tell us in your comments. We'd love to hear from you. And if you'd like to see similar videos every week, do like, share and subscribe to this channel.